What's the class?
Yippee.
30, 40.
I saw the thing go up.
Or 40, yeah. Wait, it's open.
If I had Zoom on my phone, I'd test it out, but I'm too lazy for this shit.
Does anybody have Zoom on their
I'm
phone?
downloading it now.
Yeah, it was fine.
My purse.
They changed the app description to AI first collaboration.
Wait,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Wait, who?
why?
What did it?
Why change the title?
What app?
Zoom.
Zoom, it's AI first collaboration now.
I think.
to send this to Slack and the
That makes me feel good.
And he loves if you come and chat. He like if you go to his like office hours, so just get a hoodie and sweats, like he's like
I'm gonna take a picture for the
cozy
Slack.
and so cute. I don't think maybe broke his cozy.
Take a
All right.
picture? Yeah. I smiled. I knew it was there.
I don't think.
I always do it. Any possible.
Public administration.
Chris, what's your major? Poli sci?
I'm the practical poli-sci major here.
Can everybody speak at like the normal volume to see how it sounds?
I'm speaking.
I speak words.
Hello. Hello.
In my opinion,
I'm currently
it
taking the
sounds
ultimate
awful.
look for student
How does it
housing.
sound
Wait,
terrible?
guys, I have an idea. Can someone zoom into a meeting and we can have that phone to pass around when someone has to speak?
I
That
feel
is
like it would
good
just be
enough.
easier to yell.
Yeah.
But like, if you pass the mic around, it's just basically like a mic with a screen.
What on that one?
What's that fucking
I don't. I think that's what parliamentary procedure is for. I think that's just caveman.
I think that's
parliamentary
just
procedure.
me.
I feel like wouldn't that make
I am the talking
an echo because it would come through here and then go back to your phone?
Because we can,
That's
because
true.
if someone's talking while here, we can mute that. Because like we don't need to hear something online if someone hears talk.
That sounds like a lot of extra stuff.
That
Oh
sounds
my god.
It
No
is a
one
lot
here
of.
has any sophistication. No one has any.
I fear it is a lot of unnecessary stuff.
I fear.
It's two stops.
Yeah, and also a lot of people tend to talk when they are not given the floor online. So
Quickly, Jack, pass me your other green flag.
oh, that was,
That was
dark.
really good.
That was a dart.
I'm actually proud of that one. Usually I
Reflex
can't
me
throw
bad.
or catch anything.
No, it means less good.
Oh, okay, okay.
Then, hold on, pass me your red.
Well, if it's a red and a green at the same time.
Yeah, does this just mean I'm
Positive.
confused?
It's positive.
Okay.
I'm confused.
I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. I shall be abstaining.
Order. Kayla, how's the setup? How's the setup?
Yay.
I'm gonna give you back.
How do I get onto the?
Oh no.
That was bad.
Oh Jesus, I'll just send you the link.
The Spotify?
I
You sent it to me too.
I am not using this shit.
Is it a playlist or is it like?
it's a shared playlist
Oh my goodness.
For what? Exactly again?
for Spotify.
I know, but like.
Play
for-
before
That
the
is kind of
meetings.
impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Wait,
we have to.
Not
stop
even
it.
for before the meetings. It's just for funsies.
Yeah, because we have to
I like to
stop the
play
music
along.
before the meetings start, otherwise we get copyright strike,
Yeah.
which is so lovely.
Strikes my
I
nose.
don't know if Marcus made it completely public yet, so I'm gonna text it instead.
And then you gotta put all
I
I
think
think
we
my Slack is broken. It's asking me to pay money.
I don't know why they're unlisted.
What?
I don't know. When I went on Slack, this is the OSC.
Real. Representative Noah Arbit.
Not a book.
It says here start free trial. Or it was
On
asking me to
Slack?
pay money.
Mario, I just sent it to you over Discord.
Wait, that is
Okay.
weird. Have you like linked your account through your like school email? It is. It's my school email. Yeah, that is weird. I have not seen that.
Oh, I love getting the legislature meeting alert now.
Yeah.
That's so helpful because you're out of the office, so you have Wi-Fi again.
Said you sent it on Discord.
I sent it to you over Slack because I didn't know your Discord. I can try sending it to you over Discord. I just have to know what your Discord is.
Oh no, it's a read AI.
I don't even know what my Discord is.
I can find it in the OUC server.
Not off the top of my head. You can probably find it online.
Click on the thing in the bottom right corner.
Oh, I should have done
Oh,
my
it's
hair
just Matt
today.
Dooley.
That would have been
Okay.
great.
If we
Yeah.
can sing at the
No,
beginning.
it's just first and last name.
I'm good on that.
It's like the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Fight,
allegiance
fight,
to the
fight,
flag.
Brooklyn. Fight the whole campus.
I've never heard.
I've never heard.
Oh, that's so true, that's so true.
Wait, why can I not see you?
Yes, we do.
Why can I
It's a
not? Why
very
can I not
lame
see you?
What?
It's actually, you picked that up so quick. You were like, I know that.
I need.
Are you in the OUC server?
No.
Oh, that'd be
I
why.
don't know how to.
Okay.
I don't use
Like,
Discord a lot.
Okay, I will.
I think they literally just took a, I think they took like a non.
It's just your first and last name?
That makes sense.
I think we should, I think.
I
we
sent
should
you a
have,
friend
like,
request.
maybe we should have, we should have everyone learn that and we should start doing that at like Meet the Reps.
That'd be fun.
We would just completely throw away any goodwill that
Also, we
OUSC
should,
has
we should
gained.
start going to sporting events and singing
We
it.
should go to sport.
We should.
There's your
Yeah,
playlist.
that actually is-
I remember being like, oh, it's my first year here, I gotta go to sporting events, and then one day, no.
I've
Yo.
never been to a game.
I've gone to a
Yeah,
couple soccer
basketball.
games.
I went to the basketball courts. They're actually, fun fact, I personally find the women's games more fun than the men's. Because the men's games everyone goes to, that's where everyone goes. So usually you're stuck in a huge crowd and it's sweaty and hot. However, the women's games, because no one shows up, you
Okay,
actually have
I
space.
got a lot of work.
Women's
Hey,
team is really.
Emily
fucking
gave me
good.
clearance to
Where's the
postpone her
schedule of,
bill.
like, games?
It's
They are
on the
all-
rec center website.
They're on the rec center website. WXOU also streams them all. They broadcast them. I say that because I was their first Eagle Sports broadcaster. I sat in the booth. Yes, just had to shamelessly self-promo that, my bad guys. Let me keep my ego a little bit. WXOU streams them live. I know a couple times throughout the winter half of the games especially, we have some students who go through with Nick Monticelli's class and they record them. A lot of the O Post also covers the games pretty consistently through their sports department. So it's really just pick your favorite OU outlet to where you get your news about the school. They will have them covered. Also, fun fact, Ora Pescatovich goes to every basketball game. She starts dancing with Riz at halftime. It's very funny to watch because the students will not cheer for her. It is kind of funny. So yeah, there's that.
Are the only people on the OUSC playlist Marcus and the three of us now?
Yeah.
I don't think Marcus has made it public yet.
Marcus
I'm
definitely
having
Marcus.
so much fun.
I don't think he made it public yet.
I should add some Miles.
Who had an ocean?
No.
No, Marcus had an ocean. Marcus had an ocean, man. You should have heard him like right after he sent it to me. He was like sitting there jamming in the office to his little songs. He like his Muppet song that he listens to constantly.
Oh my god. That
We're
song's
doing a
like-
sequel.
That song just makes my brain explode. I
He
hate
listens
it.
to it every single day on repeat. I don't know why.
I'm so
Okay.
sleepy, I just want to go to bed. I shan't. I shan't.
There's some homemade iced tea and salad dressing chocolate.
No, but that does look very cute.
God, let me look at this.
And I think over there.
Somebody send me.
I will.
Thank you. I want to see what songs are on it. So I can make
I
it
hate this is becoming a thing now.
I don't know.
We can make it nice.
I should add Miles.
No,
No.
that's not a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Wait,
I think most of your ideas
Here-
are shit.
That's mean.
You're
Is
mean
he
to me all the
wrong?
time.
can we add this land as your land to the OUSC?
I like that one.
You add a Union
Wait,
Dixie.
what? Somebody who?
Yeah,
Woody
who sings it?
Guthrie.
Okay.
And
He's a national treasure, and I think the Smithsonian like could clarify.
What's your website? What is your
Hour and
everything in
20
German?
something.
It's like everything started like assuming everything's in German. Then decided to embrace it by turning my operating system to German. And now I'm having German year 2,
So you are German.
second semester.
Should I add content Barca to the
Also, the United Forces of the
You had
United
what?
German
Should I add the
They're
Barca hymn to
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, you have the thing in the.
like, super problems.
Yeah, no,
Ocean
I mean,
Man
they're
on
not
this
very
thing?
imperialist, but
Yeah, where'd Kayla go?
still.
I think she went to the
Great.
office to get something. I think she was going to get her water cup, and I think it's right here.
Okay, because I was gonna ask again, how do I do the captions thing? Because I forgot that. But
How does it take 3
I
weeks
can
to
show you.
put together?
yeah, but how do I make it so it shows up on the screen? Because that was what she was wanting.
15 songs.
Let me roll up. Let me
roll up? Can we go to the
I added the Barca theme song to.
where's
Oh,
the
show
setting?
captions, I see
Can't
it,
wait
okay.
until Mark's like, wait a minute, other people are adding something to it.
Yep, it's that.
Yeah, all of it's Marcus. Jesus Christ.
All
of it's Marcus.
Let's get some diversity up.
The second I went on to Spotify, I suddenly forgot every song I listened to. I'm like,
You know what, that's fair,
I'm just going to my other playlist. Crazy Train, that's
Oh,
getting
that's
added.
Mm,
The Barca theme song, Crazy Train,
a little,
changes.
You know Miles.
no, don't encourage her.
Should I add really bad white girl music?
Yes.
Please add 2000 to White Girl music. I have a soft spot for
Why are
that
you
kind
No,
of
no, no,
music.
no, I'm really
So
bad. I'm doing
stoked.
Cake by the Ocean and.
No, no,
I feel like she should make it
That's too far.
Okay, that might be too far.
Yeah, she
That might be too much.
yeah, but yellow. Yellow. Yeah, that looks ugly.
Yeah.
But the
Don't worry.
translation one looks so pretty.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a bad idea.
I will add sunflower from
Hannah Montana bangers on.
Okay, everyone, quiet coyote. Zachary, speak like you're speaking about a resolution.
So this resolution is going to add all the chachis to hombabis and I don't know.
Wow, I got that pretty good.
Okay, we're in business,
Did
baby.
wait for it.
Oh wait, they just translated this stuff at the end.
This resolution will add all the good things to campus and it will get rid of all of the bad things.
I have a point. I actually want all the bad things on campus.
Motion to divide the question.
Motion to kill myself.
I almost said motion to kill yourself.
No, this is going on YouTube, guys.
Not yet. Have we started recording?
I'm sorry?
It starts when the Zoom starts.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna ask Marcus to edit out the beginning.
Guys, just remember
We're all adults.
when Alright, everyone, we're gonna do a demonstration of the code.
Hey, they're already on. They're already at work. 30 words.
Okay, we're working. Look, 30 words.
Did you say it's gonna be ultimate load?
No.
Stop.
It says recorded, so also recorded.
I see you turned captions on. Did you turn on the transcript too?
Yes, I did. Right here.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
And because Mark is going to abandon ship at 4:30, we're more than likely gonna have to do a share.
Okay, I'm gonna call him right now.
Because you should make a Google form, if that's gonna be the case, just in case.
I'm so glad that you ended up going. I didn't realize how much of a boy you are.
Are you a student in English literature?
No, I am in the finance guy.
But then
That's
there's
I didn't realize.
That's hot.
there's so many people.
I want to see.
I don't remember anybody's names. I'm so glad you know.
But, I heard you're trying to 6, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll take that
so
into
Johnny,
account.
what
time?
It's at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm not.
He's gonna make that a 4. Take 3 gums, calm the fuck out.
Okay.
Perfect.
The Saturday night one would work best for me for entire.
What?
But I can also force my boss to do Fridays. I'll figure it out again. After she didn't give me time off to see my
It's
diet
catching
alcohol,
people's-
I have a pretty good chip against
You
her.
have,
I
you
can
have
do
the
either.
upper hand.
Yeah, like I was like, hey, my uncle's dying, can I take time off? She was like, check the vacation schedule, and then he died.
They're having a live performance of the Rocky Horror Show on November.
Oh yeah, they do that
Oh,
every.
yeah, they do.
Hundreds of beavers though.
Oh my
I'm
God.
locked in. I'm seeing hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of
Does
people?
anyone
Yeah,
have
they're showing
one
it at the
paper?
Redford.
Does anyone have a piece of? No, I do. Oh my God, Tuna
A bunch of
Shelley.
the Halloween ones look good. I like that they do the noir.
But
stuff.
1,000 of you.
We need more beavers.
You should. Giant.
What?
That's the day where I'm.
What? You did not say. I don't know what you got.
Penalty shootout. So
I don't know why.
The day after.
they're doing a penalty.
Jesus Christ.
Alright.
Sit down.
Earl, will you be free Sunday for our chapel, Sunday the 7th?
We're gonna get started in about 5 minutes, just to wait for President Johnson to show up. Just about 5 minutes.
Okay, because Allison and Lori want to go that Sunday.
Is he gonna
Sunday the 6th,
is he gonna leave at 4:30 still or? Okay.
It's already past 4:30.
7th. It's like a.
Oh yeah.
I just doubled the length of the spot.
Oh wow.
Well, then you can go to both of the Redford movies, Giant, and that's the last James Dean and Star Wars. The day after. Yeah, take a look at the.
It wasn't the 7th.
Oh, not.
Okay, I was like, oh my God. So I was like, there's no Sunday.
They don't do movies.
I know.
Yeah. I'm glad that you knew that. That's, thank you.
Where's the rest? Oh, wait, there is a Sunday.
Well, those are like.
Yeah, ignore that. Ignore that.
Like, they only do Sundays in semester.
I was trying to realize.
Man, I think it's fun to see live. Same with Young Frankenstein. But those are the only time they're doing back-to-back weeks. The back-to-back weekends that I'm here.
Oh, you're not gonna get over.
Are you leaving me?
In October.
All right, Marcus said he'll be here in 5.
And I'm actually chairing the meeting.
Oh, I love
Because I
that.
know.
Because it's not.
No, it's okay.
No, it's not.
One of my friends is trying to.
Oh, it's like, you're back.
Because she bought me Overwatch.
Sure, he's basically.
Sorry.
Or one of my
I'm not
friends.
like cable
Right
here.
before it was
There's
free.
space.
Right before it was free.
Sure.
I bought it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you out.
Yeah.
I hope it's not bad.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, online friends.
It was so bad.
I didn't think it was bad.
Oh, I meant their house. Honestly,
Well, we're close enough. It's still here.
Yeah,
Not
but mostly,
Yeah.
mostly the
Was
sound.
anyone
effects.
really so late? But then
What's
you
the
guys
Overwatch
said
with
this was
the-
bad.
I do want to see It's a Wonderful Life. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. I know what it's about, but like, I've never seen it.
What's it about?
I just want to
Having
hear-
a wonderful
Having a
life.
wonderful life, yeah.
It's
What was that?
Surely there's not one.
Has your, rainbow 16?
So is this gonna be a super
not
short
that
meeting just because it's the one thing, or is it gonna be like a normal one?
It's the budget along with that one SAP bill, so it depends on how long we need to read the budget for. Which there is some stuff changing legislative pace, so it'll probably be a little
Colin was
longer.
around me for.
He put you guys down to 4 hours
Oh my god, I
at
love
the moment, so
Yeah, that's fine with me. I know it was like,
he was trying to get executives some hours, so
that's fine.
Call me next week.
I don't
And
need
it's a
the
salad.
extra 1 hour. It's the difference of like $200 for the
Like
whole.
syrup.
Right.
I get it.
meanwhile, this is about to be my only source of income, so I'd like to get as much as I can.
Exactly.
I've done things.
I'm sure it's kind of
I
aggressive.
basically have 4
Yeah.
times what
Yeah.
I'm free. And so if I do something for 2 of them, I get 2 of them off. And I did something Monday, I did something Monday, so I have Tuesday, and tomorrow I was.
Oh, Marcus, please. This is the most amount of in-person people we've had ever this summer. This is weird.
At the special GBN.
At the special DB, and this is the opposite of last summer.
Volunteer for the trail.
We're all here just to get Hallie Sing Fest.
What's your email?
Yay. I'm okay with it. Feel we're back from vacation
If
now.
only we had a room that wasn't terrible. Although I do like the renovations they've made to this room. It's very neat.
Yeah, I like the pink colors.
I like the pink colors. I like the little side tables that fold. I like that a lot.
Those are nice.
Oh.
I just don't like that. I like that the room is not all yellow anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I do hope they rehang the art out.
that's true. Yeah.
Especially
You
the
like how
ones
neat
like
that is.
disgusting color.
See, now I'm more open to having GBMs in
The
here.
bad yellow color, the bad color.
I would rather.
Yeah, but it's.
I like having a mic system. That those fancy new mics. That we
All
have
right.
specifically set up.
Oh, that's.
Marcus is on the phone. We're all good to start. Well, that's loud. All right. Thank you everybody for showing up to this special GBM. I'm gonna call this meeting. I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. First thing, we'll go move on into roll call. When you hear your name, please say if you are present or present and voting. Majority Leader Brummer,
Present.
Chairperson LaBelle,
Present and voting.
Chairperson Valdez,
Present.
Chairperson Waters, Parliamentarian Vella,
Present.
Legislator Barris, Legislator Black, Legislator Dreswicki,
President.
Legislator Fayette,
Present and voting.
Legislator Aveza, Legislator Lunger,
Present.
Legislator Maku,
Present.
Legislator Markowitz, Legislator Martino, Legislator Mays, Legislator Mason,
President.
Legislator Obra,
Present.
Legislator Pershandaro,
Present.
Legislator Rosario,
Present.
Legislator Sturbu,
Present.
Legislator Snell,
President voting.
Legislator Van Patten,
Present.
Legislator Wiegand,
Present.
Legislator Wolf.
President.
Someone joined virtually. Who joined virtually? Legislator
joined.
Aveza, present and present voting.
Present.
Okay, with that, we have met quorum. All right. Next up, we'll read our land acknowledgement. Further, we recognize the wrongs done to those forcibly removed from their homelands and commit to fostering an environment of inclusion that is responsive to the needs of First Peoples through our words, policies, and actions. Next up, we'll move on into approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving into a voice vote. Are there any nays at this time? Any yays?
Yay.
With that, the agenda has passed. That will be moving on into announcements. Are there any announcements to be made at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving into new business. There's nothing under new business, so we'll be moving on into old business. First thing in old business is CB 6807. This is presented by Chairperson Ludwig. This is the second reading and is eligible to be voted upon at this meeting. Chairperson Ludwig, you have the floor.
Hi guys, I was here last week. If you weren't here last week, I have a bill to put the category limits into our bylaws. We have been looking at all of our funds and we realized that we will not have enough funds at the rate that we are spending them. And we needed to curb funding. After a lot of talks with Dana and all of us and our board, we decided that the best thing to do would be to reinstate the category limits. So we would amend the articles back to what they were before. Our food would, do I have to read the entire thing like down?
You don't have to, but it's fine if you do.
The food and speakers would be 3/10, which is 30% of our budget. The equipment would be 4/10, which is 40% of our budget. We will change our name from giveaways to promotional items because it causes confusion in some of our presidents and treasurers in what it qualifies for. We would make that category limit 1/10, which is 10% of our budget. We would change our conference funding to 2/10, 20% of the budget, and we would add that if an interim chairperson may not write or put up bills to vote for during OUSC meetings. This is because the category limits were taken away during an interim chairperson, and a interim chairperson is not voted into the position, and we believe it would make more sense if a instated chairperson puts up bills for SAFB. And then if you want to look at our budget, I have our prediction. If you could go to the copy of predictions. So this is what is most likely our budget for the semesters. Does anybody want me to re-explain how I got these numbers again? So it's 40% of what we had at the beginning of the summer, and through these numbers, next year we would run out of funding if we continued spending at this rate. And then you go to the predictions one, and then these numbers are a less likely number, but it shows how small contributions to our budget can have a huge impact with a remainder of $2,000 at the end of our budget. Does anybody have any questions about the numbers, any concerns, things like that?
Any motions or discussion on CB 6807 at this time? Chairperson Waters.
Yes, I just would like to say like a little bit about my personal opinions about this bill. Yeah. Personally, I think that this is a necessary thing to pass, considering that if we don't, SAFB will run out of money, and that is really bad. I don't think I have to tell anybody here that. So I will be fully supporting this, and I mean, I trust Chairperson Ludwig that this is good. So that I have the floor.
Chairperson LaBelle.
I'm just gonna quickly restate what I said last week. I wholeheartedly support this. I will be voting for it. I wish at the time when we voted to remove said category limits, we had been further educated on what the effects of that might be. And I wish the former interim chairperson would have actually researched or heard anybody out on what those effects might be. I believe everyone at that time was very uneducated on what the effects of removing the category limits would be. And I'm very glad we'll be bringing it back. That you.
Legislator Weekend.
So I guess my question is, why do we have to go back to the old way? Why can't you just be more selective about who you give money to, and if it's like an excessive ask, just deny it?
So it's for a bunch of different reasons. The main reason is that we want to be fair and equitable to all organizations. If We denied clubs for money because we believe it's too much and we don't have a definitive reason. They would be more upset at SAFB and they might not, they might have some things that we want to buy that we can't buy because they have a really large budget request. We also don't want to have to stop spending suddenly. We would much rather have all of these category limits in place than for somebody at the end of the semester who has only one big event to not be able to do that event because we ran out of money. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. But then the old problem was that they'd run out of money in a specific category before they run out of money in other categories.
Yes, so if a club wants to spend more than the allotted money in that category, they are able to. They just have to submit a waiver. That is on our MySale. You fill it out with what category you're taking from, why you want more money, and depending on your reasoning, we will ask for a hearing, which is just like a 15-30-minute meeting to state your case, and then that's when we would determine whether we believe the money is too much.
So wouldn't that be the same problem with like being fair and equitable because you're just denying it for being too much?
This ensures that clubs have thoroughly thought through what they want to spend money on. We don't want clubs to spend a lot of money on something that they want, but is not fulfilling to the student body as a whole. This way, if a club wants, it allows clubs to think more about their budget, so that they're not doing what some might call frivolous spending.
Advisor Miller, if you may come up to the, oh,
Yeah, Caleb.
okay, Legislator Snell, I apologize.
I firmly stand with SAFB in the sense that we already have started the semester off saying we wanted to repair our relationship with them. Part of that means that, yes, we need to trust that when they say this is something that we need to do, part of that, well, yes, it is imperative that we question it. That is our job in overseeing them. We also need to trust that they did think this through, that they did put forth this with the greatest consideration to be able to do the best work for the greatest amount of students. And with that, I would support this bill.
No, now Advisor Miller. Oh. Yeah, if you may come up to just so people online can hear you.
Speaking chair.
Okay. Let me give you some history. First of all, SAP is never going to run out of money. One thing that is happening for all the SAPAC organizations, including SAP, is we all have this huge surplus of money that was accumulated because of COVID. And all the SAPAC organizations have rightly so used the money appropriately, but it's no longer surplus. So that's what they're dealing with, is they no longer have the surplus. In past history, and they did it the same way where the allocations were a rolling allocation. It's never been, every student organization has had to submit a budget at the beginning of the semester. We've never done it that way. And I think one year we did it, it was a disaster. So this is the great way to do it. It's very, very effective. But there has been times over the years that they have literally for the semester run out of money because they appropriately allocated money based on first come, first served with student organizations putting in their allocations. And what happens is they get replenished two ways. They get replenished by callbacks. There's the money that wasn't used, goes right back, and or they get their next allocation. So every semester, every SAPAC organization, including including SAFB, receives a lump sum of money based on the percentage that the student body agreed on. So this is just, no man, I don't want it to sound like you're going to run out of money. You're not going to run out of money. You just don't have the surplus of money that they had 2 or 3 years ago. And they just need to be more conscientious of how they're gonna spend the money with the student organization, particularly because past COVID, we were down to like 248, 249 student works. We're back to almost 300. And I anticipate that we're gonna stay at that, if not more. So they're just being conscientious of how they're spending the money. So it's across the board for every student organization to use equally and freely as any other student organization. Does that make sense? So I just want to make sure that it's not you're ever going to run out of money. It will be there, but you're trying to be fiscally responsible. Thank you. For how they're going to spend it moving forward. Is that helpful at all?
All right. With that, discussion time has expired.
You don't, unless there's an extension.
Unless there's an extension. Motion to extend by 5 minutes raised by legislator Snell. Do I have a second to the motion? Raised by Chairperson LaBelle. Assistant Chair Liadi, you have the floor.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to add some further context about why it was removed in the first place. Since I was chair last year too, I had the notion that like the surplus was running out. So when I had to leave and the interim chair took over, I mean, both me and Hallie Ludwig, as ex-director of accounting at the time, we advised against removing that because we knew what the numbers would look like. We knew that the categories kind of serve as a little stop, think, proceed for the student organizations. It's just a little, hey, think through everything. Do you need everything? Okay, cool. Then go ahead. And then by making them categorize each item, that makes stop and think a little bit about each item that they really need. And against all the advice, the removal of categories went forward, but it was never really something that SAP wanted to do when I was chairperson, and that's just kind of what happened. So this would just make it so, again, like Yinan said, we're not going to really run completely out of money, but if we have to put a stop in the middle of the semester, a lot of orgs are going to be really upset, rather than like a few orgs being a little bit upset that they have to, you know, go through an extra hurdle to get over a category limit. That's all. Thank you.
Legislator Snell.
So just quick question to you, both Hallie and Jude, or Chairperson Ludwig and Associate Chairperson Liadi. So what you're saying is that both had already talked about this, and this was done under an interim chair,
Yes.
against advice.
Yes.
Yes. With full knowledge of the consequence being this, that could have come from it.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. So that's why also we added the thing about interim chairs not being able to change bylaws, so that this can be avoided in the future. Because the interim chair is not someone who's voted in.
Are there any other points, or Chairperson Ludwig?
The only other thing I wanted to say kind of is on what Advisor Miller said. She is right, we won't like run out of money, we'll just run out of this year's allocation. But for context, every year, even with the category limits, we went between $20,000 and $30,000 over the allocation. And we believe that the category limits will help limit our spending to be around what we receive in allocation. That is our goal. And without the category limits, we just do not see how it's possible.
Legislator Snell. Are there any other motion or discussions on CB 6807 at this time? Legislator Markowitz.
Here it comes.
Where's my walk-up song?
Do I need to add the walk up to the discussion time?
Thank you. So quick question. So, one thing that I've been a little bit confused about on the club sports side and also on the SAP side is, since we don't know exactly how the new SAP allocation is going to affect us, let's say it comes in like way higher than what we're anticipating. is that something that then we're like modifying the budget and getting adjusted, or that's just adding to the surplus and then we're adjusting the numbers for that?
I mean, I do wanna say club sports are not funded by SAP. But I suppose it depends on how much of a surplus it is. If it's a really large surplus, we might readjust the entire budget as a whole, but if it's only a little bit more than what we think it is, we might not adjust it that much. The numbers that I calculated to account for what we believe the increase will be based on the increase we had this summer. So they will probably be fairly accurate. I wouldn't be able to give you a true answer until we see the.
Legislator Snell.
Part of that, I know you mentioned there was I believe $20,000 to $30,000 over your budget every year anyways. Would any surplus go towards helping pay down that overage, or how will that get, or is that accommodated for with this budget? So you mentioned that every year students go $20,000 to $30,000 over, well, SAFB goes $20,000 to $30,000 over what they're spending. With these limits, does that back? Pretty much what happens to that $20,000 to $30,000, because that seems like a pretty large sum.
If we spend a lot more than our allocation this year, we are going to have to shut down because we no longer have the COVID cushion again. You're spending that surplus because we had a large surplus of money that we don't have anymore.
All right, with that, discussion time is once again expired unless there are any motions to extend. Seeing none, we'll be moving on into a roll call vote. Hear your name, please say if you are a yay, nay, or abstain. Chairperson LaBelle.
Yay.
Chairperson Waters.
Yay.
Legislator Fayette.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
I'm sorry, I gotta think about this a bit more. Can you come back to me?
Majority Leader Brummer.
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez.
Yay.
Parliamentarian Vella.
Yay.
Legislator Dreswicki.
Yay.
Legislator Veza.
Yay.
Legislator Lunger.
Yay.
Legislator Maku.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz.
Yay.
Legislator Mason. Legislator Obra.
Yay.
Legislator Prishindaro.
Yay.
Legislator Rosario.
Yay.
Legislator Strubu.
Yay.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yay.
Legislator Wiegand.
Yay.
Legislator Wolf.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
All right. With that, CB 6807 has passed. Moving on the agenda, we have the OUSC Budget and Finances for the fall semester of 2025. This is presented by President Johnson. This is the second reading and is eligible to be voted upon at this meeting. President Johnson, you have the floor.
Greetings and salutation. Yeah. To save time, I'm going to get right into the nitty gritty of stuff, to the things you're all most interested in. Could you go to the fall compensation tab? So as something that was presented by Chair LaBelle, I am more so giving you a visual of what it would look like. This is, if I were to keep the legislator pay at 4 hours as it currently is now, this is the wiggle room I've been given to grant more hours to the e-board and some leadership positions. Now, I am happy to go through and change it back if you all decide to keep legislative pay at 5 hours per week. But I know some were asking about, why I didn't give more hours to the executive board members. So this is my way of showing, in order to do so, this is what that would look like. So this is the alternative proposal that I am giving you for your thoughts and considerations. I will stop yapping about it so that discussion may pursue.
All right, are there any points or discussions to be made about the fall compensation plan? Legislator Snell.
So just out of curiosity, while I see that we did lose that hour, can I ask where did it go? Did it go towards that backup hour, or where was it? Did it end up?
So if you scroll down, if you scroll down, so when legislators lost that 1 hour, it wasn't just 1 hour out of the budget. It was 1 hour from about 20 some people. So the money that left over was reallocated to give more hours to some of the executive board members and legislative leadership folks.
All right, Chairperson Waters.
Thank you. I just would like to ask for the record where exactly, what positions got what from this allocation. With that,
President Johnson.
Let me go back. I will go through and give you an updated tally. Why don't I open the budget sheet because I can look at the version history and I can tell you instead of trying to guess. I know because I will say I was able to increase the director of internal affairs by quite a few hours, but I'm going to go through and look at the version history to give you an accurate number of who received an increasing in hours and by how much that was. So today, no, this would have been. That's not it. This one, there are a lot of version histories to this thing, so if you'll forgive me, I gotta go. Okay, that. Okay, so the main things that were changed were all of the executive board positions, except for financial affairs and elections commissioner, were given at least 10 hours. All of them, I believe, were at 8 originally. And I think I gave student advocacy and sustainability 12 in the final proposal, because I know those are two directors who will be planning on a lot of different things. So I wanted to give them a little wiggle room. I think the internal affairs director went from 10 to 15 hours, and the vice president went up to 18 hours. And let me scroll down because there's more. The speaker went from 13 to 14 hours. The judiciary chair went from 9 to 10. The steering chair went from 7 to 8. And I believe I allocated for the backup hour for the speaker and the judiciary chair. Initially, I had not.
All right, Chairperson LaBelle.
Yeah. So I know I would be personally okay. I know I've spoken with Speaker DeVore about this. I am okay with this backup hour going kaput and going into like the commuter support chairs hours or something like that. I am also open to removing one of my hours and giving it to one of the other legislative leadership members without with less hours, because I feel like they need it a little more than I do. There you go.
I will take that as a friendly amendment if that is something being requested.
I am requesting that.
Okay. Y'all can watch me make the change in real time. Now, did you have in mind where you wanted that additional hour to go, Chairperson LaBelle?
The commuter support chair and parliamentarian would be fine.
Legislator Snell.
I don't know about other legislators. I know right now I'm working at all 4 hours for the past 2 weeks, and I still have work to do. So oftentimes, this is just work that's going unpaid. So I know I personally would benefit to having all 5 hours, having now seen it and balanced it out. However, I am willing to say that we can stand down on it if that's what the legislature would like. Because I know also that, just from what I've heard in past discussions, the issue is legislators either will clock like 1 or 2 hours a week, or if they're maxing out, they're usually just going over anyways.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yeah, so my thoughts on this, it kind of goes along with what Legislator Smith just said, is that I am totally okay with bringing it down to keeping it at 4 hours. Although I would also invite any of the legislative leadership right now to speak on if the amount of hours they're allocated currently reflect well the amount of work they put in, considering that if the legislative leadership does feel as though they work over the hours that they are allocated currently, that those hours that are taken away that were put into the executive board right now, if they may be better served ensuring that legislative leadership gets paid for, more of the work they did.
All right. Legislator Prashandaro, just have a point. All right, let Chairperson LaBelle.
Yeah, so, I will say the, argument that a lot of the people that are going to put in work are going to go over hours anyway, that's an argument I've made several times. Just speaking, having been in the legislature for a very long time, having been a legislator and the judiciary chair, no matter how many hours I'm given, if I'm working a lot that week and I want to get a lot of stuff done, I am going over every time without fail, no matter the amount of hours in which I have. I did it as legislator. I've done it as judiciary chair nearly every week. It's just something I've accepted at this point. I think having legislators at 4 hours for the fall is just prudent. In terms of just finances, I think it's just a better business choice, especially because the executive board historically has been our backbone, like this entire has done all the heavy lifting for student congress. It's when I first made this point last meeting, I recognized in just to myself that it is a little bit hard for me to personally justify putting those extra hours into the executive, just because we don't have much of an executive, which is a little unprecedented to not have as many e-board members as late in the summer. However, I'm going to put my trust in the fact that they will be hired soon, and that these hours will be put to good use. And I believe entrusting the executive with the hours in which is shown in this budget is a good idea economically, as well as functionally. With that, I yield.
Legislator Weekend.
So I have kind of an idea / question if this is even possible. Would there ever be like a way that we could make it so at the end of the semester, people who log 5 hours as a legislator can get money from the people who did only log like 2 or 3 hours? Because there'd be money left over in the budget. Like, I don't know. I'm just wondering if it's even possible. Like, let's say, for example, if you were to work 5 hours, you could log the 5 hours and then only get paid for 4. And then at the end of the year or the semester, if someone like me worked 3 hours 1 week and there was more money left in the pie, if it could go to you because you logged that 5 hours, is that a possibility? Or like, that's just an idea. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm just curious.
President Johnson, did you want to speak on that?
So when budgeting, the way I approach it and the way we've historically approached it is that we budget for every person to clock in the maximum amount of hours that they can. So I don't know if there's a way to, give people more money for clocking in all of their hours per se, and we also keep a strict rule of sticking to the amount of hours that you're budgeted for. I think the only real case in which outside of the budgeted hours people have been allowed to clock in an extra hour has traditionally been on the backup hour that the speaker and the judiciary chair share. But I've not seen that work for the legislature, typically because when we budget for legislators, we have to budget for all legislators. I'm not in a, we don't have the infrastructure to budget for specific ones. So like that line for legislators, that covers all of the ones not separately accounted for above it, if that makes sense.
Legislator Rosario.
I I personally would rather have 5 hours, but I completely understand and probably favor having 4 hours for legislators because even though there were a number of weeks where I maxed out my hours and would still like volunteer to table or other work because there just wasn't anyone else to do so. Most people just don't do that. And I think it's completely reasonable. A little bit sad, but completely reasonable to have 4 hours for legislators per week.
Chairperson LaBelle.
Yeah, okay. I did want to say, historically, we did this same exact thing last term, where we actually had 3 hours for legislators last summer. That was due to unprecedented circumstances. By unprecedented circumstances, I mean we spent way too much money on windbreakers the previous administration and sent us to deal with financial crisis. So that was a little unprecedented and weird. But in the fall, we did all have 4 hours for legislators just to rebuild our finances. And as for all SAFAC orgs, our COVID cushion is dwindling. And in order to be prudent with the amount of money we're giving to people and using in general, I believe sticking to 4 in the fall and then 5 for legislators in the winter, which we are more than likely to afford just due to the increased amount of enrollment. I think that is the best way to go about it. In terms of speaking to Legislator Wiegand's idea for like we all heard his idea. I'm not sure if it's allowed or not. I'm going to be very real on that. I do think it would be logistically terrible and a nightmare to figure out. So I think we should talk about that more and figure that out for maybe the winter budget. But for now, I think figuring that out on such short notice would, especially seeing as this week is the last week for a lot of us to work until the fall. I think that would be terrible. And it would not be very enjoyable, especially for the speaker, president, vice president who would end up figuring that out. I can see Speaker DeVore dying inside as I talk. So with that, I yield.
Legislator Wolf.
Long enough chair. I feel like hopping off of Legislator Wiegand's idea, I feel like doing this on more of on a as we go sort of basis would be more logistical because I feel like it's just like that people can expect to be paid sooner and we don't have to keep track of everything for weeks and weeks. Because when we budget, 4 hours per legislator each week, we expect to be down I don't know, let's say we have 10 legislators. In the first week we would expect to be down 40 hours. We expect 40 hours of work to occur, but if there's only 20 hours of work that occurred, then maybe next week or in the following weeks people can apply hey, I really wanna work at the eats and beats. I'm out of hours. Could I have an extra 3 hours? That maybe we could have an application or a form we could fill out because we budget for a certain amount of hours to use each week. So, and once we get behind, there's no making it back up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this would be a way we can catch back up on these hours that we're losing due to people being busy, because it's, you know, like, we all have the same amount of hours, you know, like, just like it's just a percentage. And I think, especially when we don't have a whole legislator chair isn't filled, then I feel like we should find a way that we can recoup those man hours. I did.
With that, discussion time has ended unless there's any motions to extend.
Motion to extend by 15 minutes.
Motion to extend by 15 minutes raised by legislator Snell, seconded by legislator Wiegand. Are there any more points or discussions on the fall compensation plan? Okay, legislator Snell.
I really appreciate but legislator Wolf's idea of having that backup pot based, because we can all go back and see, okay, I worked, for example, I know there was a point where I worked 0 hours 1 week. Having someone else be able to say, hey, I actually worked 8 hours. For example, legislator Markowitz, I know, has been putting a lot more than 4 hours into the spike ball tournament. So being able to pass it over to him and be like, hey, I have 4 hours I didn't work. Maybe we can back pay you these 4 hours for that work we put in. So having it be your paycheck be a bit more reflective of the amount of work you do could serve to be a good thing. However, I also see Judiciary Chair LaBelle's point, in which it's a bit short notice to try and finagle that out.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yeah, I agree with the idea that having a way to allocate any extra hours that are left over to those who have worked over their hours within the legislature is a good idea. Although it does seem like an idea that may be rife with a little bit of conflict, especially if, you know, if there's 1 week where there's extra hours, right? Then the next week, maybe people might have a conflict where it's like, oh, I also worked extra hours. I also worked extra hours. I also worked extra hours. So who gets to choose, right? Who is allocated those extra hours, right? And so that may be a great difficulty with such a program.
Legislator Prashandaro.
It's similarly to what Legislator Van Patten just said. Like, if the number of hours, again, I really like the idea conceptually, but like if the number of extra hours worked at the end of whatever period it would be over is more than like the remaining pay for those hours in the budget, like you'd have to figure out how it would be distributed. And then there's the additional issue of like the people working extra hours, they have no way of knowing at the time whether they'll be compensated for them, and like if they are, even like how much, because it might just be more than the remainder. But like there could be a system that we could work out in there, maybe.
Legislator Wolf.
I just want to applaud the amazing language that like legislator Snell used, like a pot of like extra hours, you know. I think a pool of extra hours, that's a really good way to think of it, because I think like if we expect legislators each week to use 40 hours and we only use 35 or 20, then I feel like we should be able to have like an email like, hey, we have like 12 extra hours from last week. And we need extra hands at Eats and Beats. Would anyone like to sign up to work these extra hours? I feel like an application basis would work really well, because it enable us to have more hands on deck for more important things. And also, if emergency, like, oh, we have to move up an event by a week and we need to get all these like packets made. We need to get these packets made. Then we can have, you know, a lot of, you know, hands on deck to get a bunch of work done and have people compensated. I think this can simply be solved by just like having people apply and keeping track of how many hours we're short each week. Because I don't think it's that hard, especially when, you know, it leads to on a case by case basis and people can expect to get paid because their application to use those hours gets accepted. And it's not like weeks down the line that they figure out whether or not they're paid. I yield the floor.
Legislator Snell.
I know part of this would be that it would be on, say, on the chair, on the speaker, on the vice president to figure out these hours. However, I wonder if we go from a business perspective, I know every quarter or every term, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking to Vegan and our financial director for this one. Don't people get like a yearly or quarterly bonus? Could we possibly, instead of having like, okay, X amount of hours each week got not used, we count out the total number of unused hours at the end of, say, a semester, and now those can turn into, well, now the whole legislator will get X amount of money as a semester bonus, rather based off the fact that there's literally no way to tell who's going to work over hours, who's going to work under hours each week. And that way it will be entirely equitable because every single person will be getting the same amount of money.
I would say that that's less equitable because some people have worked less than other people and they'd all be getting the same amount.
I get that. However, the point would be, rather than creating extra work on the executive, on legislative leadership, it would be completely equal. While it's not the greatest solution of, we have all these extra hours and we still didn't get paid equitably for that, at the same time, you have to recognize part of that, and part of working over does mean you recognize, yeah, I'm not going to get paid for this. So it would be nice to at least have that little notice of, wow, at least I did extra. And even if you didn't get it right away, it's still the knowledge of, you know what, it might happen later.
Majority Leader Brummer.
So I wanted to touch on two things. I know the idea was brought up of potential bonuses. I personally, after, building the budget within my administration, am very much against that. One, because we dedicate 40% of our budget to compensation. And, we really don't spend 40% of our budget on compensation every semester. So a lot of that money gets rolled over to be used for initiatives and other things that Student Congress puts on, like programming and whatnot. And I think that's personally a far better use of the money. And in addition to that, I worry what student attitudes would be towards that, because I know that previously the scholarships that existed for president and vice president got a lot of distrust from the student body in terms of OUSC and us preserving self-interest and things of that nature. And then aside from that, I know it was discussed of potentially recycling hours. I will say I'm not an expert on this at all, but after doing payroll prior to us getting our director of financial affairs during my admin, so one thing to note is it's really difficult to track specifically how many hours each individual person uses. Because when we get our, list of things that we spend money on from Jen and Advisor Miller, typically payroll is all lumped into one category and it's given as, an amount that we pay out every 2 weeks in sum, not individual numbers. And on top of that, I know that when Jen does payroll, she is not exclusively looking at people's timesheets. So say, for example, somebody doesn't put hours on their timesheet. If you clock that in while you're on campus, you will still get paid for it. So I feel like that creates a lot of discrepancy within being able to even track this accurately. Again, I'm not an expert on it, but I see a lot of feasibility issues and complications with it.
All right. Legislator Obra. Okay, Legislator Markowitz. Like 4 people lowered their thing, so I don't know where to go now.
So, a couple of questions. One, I think we need to find out if it's even possible, because if it's not, we shouldn't waste any more time talking about it. Two, I think it's not going to affect the budget at all. So I think that's important to keep in mind for now, for what we're passing. I think something that I would be open to is like we already have like a discretionary hour that's dedicated to judiciary chair. And the student body has never been offended by that. Like, it makes sense. We have an extra hour that they can potentially use. So if we do look into it and we are able to take, like, we decide that we want to take, I don't know, a few hours. So there's like a pool of 50 hours extra over the course of the semester, and you have to like submit a form and explain why you think, like, you know, the work that you did was like essential and should be paid, that it's not just like, well, I wanted to make more this week. Then I think it's something we can look into, but that could be a discussion for a legislator meeting or even one-on-ones.
Chairperson LaBelle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, by a show of hands, how many of you guys think we could actually get this done, formulate it into a form in which is fully logistically worked out, and then propose it through an amendment in a bill in the fall semester in a reasonably fashion that would actually work 100%? Why are we talking about this then? Let's move on. With that, I yield.
Are there any other points for discussion on the fall compensation plan? Seeing none, we'll be moving on into fall finances. Noting that there is 5 minutes left on the discussion time.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm having my post props. Could you please read off the comments?
All right. I've been told to read off the chat from Legislator Martino. Legislator Martino says we've been given the chance to represent our campus. The idea that we should look to give out bonuses on top of our already designated hours is ridiculous. The pay we receive is a generous consideration and not why we should be serving on this legislature. Legislator Wolf.
I motion to table this, motion to table this indefinitely. What's the motion called?
The budget?
Oh, no, I mean like,
We can't table a conversation.
oh my goodness, I thought I forgot that this isn't a specific bill about recycling hours. Never mind, I'm sorry. I got so lost in the sauce.
Motion to
Chairperson
extend
LaBelle.
by 15.
Motion to extend by 15 minutes raised by Chairperson LaBelle, seconded by Legislator Snell. We will be now having a 19-minute long discussion time. President Johnson, for the purpose of moving on to fall finances, you have the floor.
Thank you. Where was I at? Okay, for the executive office, the only major thing, so the GSC donation stays the same. The food pantry donation, I did up to $3,000, and here was my plan with that. This is more so me wanting to make sure that the pantry is squared away to go as soon as humanly possible. But I was just talking with Speaker DeVore about this earlier. I'm going to break it up into two $1,500 segments so that, because I know they're expecting a very large shipment in from Forgotten Harvest, so I want to make sure we're not overwhelming them with things, but that we're at least contributing to making sure that they're set to go by the fall, and that, you know, later into the fall semester we can re-up on that just to make sure that they have everything they need there. I was going to have their manager come as a guest speaker, but he resigned, unfortunately. So any questions you may have about the pantry or anything related to it, feel free to ask Advisor Miller, as it is like right next to her office, and OSI is kind of overseeing that at the present moment. The DSS donation I put in for this semester is $650. I did talk to their director, and I finally have an idea of what they would be wanting us to help with, so that you all will know that easier. She's wanting to purchase a couple microphones that connect to students' hearing aids. So it wouldn't be like one for one student, it'd be one that they loan out to students who need them for classes, but it's a type of microphone that the student can give to the professor to use in class that connects to their hearing aid so that they can, you know, hear in class. I kept the stamps in this budget mainly because I saw that last year we budgeted for more stamps as well. And I know coming into the fall, people tend to use those quite quickly. So I just kept that there. Bonding, I lowered down to, I think, $500. The OUSC election fund, I am required by the bylaws to fund for that, so that's there. I have our e-board training, that's at 300, and then the partnership with the Oakland Center, that's what Chris Reed came and spoke to us about last meeting. That number hasn't changed, nor has the discretionary. I'm gonna go down, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go through these, and then I'll let y'all discuss at the end, and I can circle back and answer questions as needed. Internal affairs, nothing's really changed here. I was able to lower the office improvements budget because the thing I was expecting for us to pay a lot more for ended up costing considerably less than I thought it would. So, yay there. Financial affairs, there's nothing new there. Student advocacy, I know we have the menstrual product initiative there. We have Harvest Fest, Haunted Hallways, and a couple of the new ad hoc committees. I just reiterate that those are legislatively overseen, but the speaker felt it best to put them under student advocacy since they fell under, the goals and mission of the student advocacy director. No change in executive platform. I think the main change under sustainability is that the donation to the farm, if I can find it, has been lowered significantly. Is Director Demond here? I'll let her talk about that change. She knows a bit more on that one.
Thank you, Marcus. Yes, the pollinator gardeners and biodiversity are the same. Beerfest is the same. The rain barrels I increased to include delivery and pickup for the barrels. So I'm getting the rain barrels from a company called Upcycle. They're located in Illinois, but they're a company where all of the products are completely repurposed. And Clinton River Watershed will be selling them at cost. So not too much increase there, but just to include that much. The green roof, I included a green space. I spoke with Chris Reed yesterday. He would like to repurpose the bus shelter in the Hamlin Circle. They're no longer using it as a bus shelter. No one really used it. And they're going to put it by Bear Lake-ish. They're thinking of making it like a green space with a green roof on top and a little solar panel. They're not asking for any money from us. I just included a little bit in case we want to promote ourselves there. Sustainability month is the same. The golf course, I spoke with Legislator Snell. They reached out to me saying that the data center should also be opposed by, so I included a little bit more money in there so that we also bring that up. So I spoke with Dr. Hanson about the student organic farm, cleared up any questions with that. We clarified that only 1,200 is needed for the event tent sides for classes and such, and they don't need anything else from there. And everything else is the same. I'll yield the floor back to Marcus.
All right, thank you kindly. For marketing, I believe it is the same. Nothing's been changed there. Legislative initiatives, I will yield to the speaker to present. I don't think anything's changed, but it's still her budget, so I shall let her present.
All right. One thing did change. I'll just run through everything really quickly again. Meet the Reps got 750. Financial literacy workshop led by Chairperson Valdez was 800. The ballot initiative event led by Majority Leader Brummer was getting 300 towards food. I will yield the floor for a second to Legislator Snell to talk about the soft body dolls. That was her initiative that she brought up today. It was just added recently, so.
Hi, so if you don't know, soft body dolls are rag dolls, essentially. However, what they do, and they would be going to the Graham Health Center, part of what they would be doing would be showing students how injections would work. However, they are a key medical tool that our health center does not have currently. It helps nonverbal students or students who have gone through traumatic events help explain what happened by taking some of that burden of verbally retelling it to simply narrowing it down to please point at this doll to explain where the pain is, what could have happened, so on and so forth. We explicitly have 300 set aside because that gives us 3 of these dolls. That would get us and because and I personally felt it very important to get 3, so that way students can have a doll that looks like them. Another really important reason to having dolls that look like students would be because oftentimes, especially with skin conditions, it's the way things like eczema, psoriasis, etc. would show on a lighter skinned person or a white person displays a lot differently than how it would on, say, a black person or a brown person or another student of color. As such, to me, it was very imperative to have at least a slight range of color in these dolls. And I am open for questions about that. I yield.
All right, I'll just run through the last couple things. Just because the task forces, I usually allocate 150 to those just in case we need them for any initiatives. Student engagement gets a little bit more because that's going to be targeted towards collaborating with clubs on different events and pushing some of the student engagement stuff that I'm looking forward to doing in the fall semester. With that, I will yield to any questions about the finances in entirety. Chairperson LaBelle.
Yeah, not a question, just a statement. I really, really love the soft body dolls thing. Me and legislators now had talked about it previously because I had shared a personal story because I do hormone replacement therapy. I do it via injections. Through I get all of my stuff through Planned Parenthood. They don't teach you how to inject it at all. They give you one little little design that kind of shows you how it might work. It's really bad. It's terrible. And so I shared a personal story about how I have taught several people how to do it. And so these soft body dolls will be helpful for not just, people like me who are doing like hormone replacement therapy, but literally anyone who has to do any medicine through injection to teach them how they do it and make sure they do it safely and they don't screw anything up, because if you do, it will bruise your entire leg or wherever you're doing it for a long time. That's a terrible experience, speaking from experience. With that, I yield.
Legislator Snell.
Sorry, adding on to that, it also can yield very dangerous results, which is why I'm very passionate about this. Another thing, there is an event that will be tied with these dolls. However, because we had not, I just wanted to focus on getting the dolls first. The event was the secondary. What was important was making sure that people had these available to them. It's something that I'm very passionate about, especially hearing Legislator LaBelle's story alongside other students.
Legislator Weekend.
So it's soft body dolls. Okay, so I'm not opposing them. I'm not saying they're a bad idea or anything. I'm curious how it would help the nonverbal people when you could just point to yourself.
So part of it is this idea. I first saw it in a pediatric office. I'll be honest. Children, of course, can't really verbalize that. However, part of that is nonverbal people. And well, yes, you could say arm, leg, so on and so forth. Doctors can ask more specific questions. For example, does this hurt? I know I'm not sure if everyone's seen it, but many doctors' offices have pain scales on the wall of how high is your pain? Hold up a number on your hand, point to the scale on the wall. It would be a very similar way. And on top of that, not just nonverbal people. As I said, it can help people who've been through trauma. It also can help doctors explain things a bit easier. For example, they can have a clear overlay of what the disease is they're trying to show you. And then they can go through and show, say, on someone who's a bit darker skin, this is how the disease will manifest for you if this is a symptom you get. And just to give a bit more of a better visual, I get soft body dolls have a very different look than what these dolls are. Do you know what a Raggedy Ann or a Raggedy Andy doll is? Does everyone know what those are? It would be the same material where it's just all loose limbs and stuffing in like a body-shaped thing.
Is it like full human size or is it tinier?
It's not full human size. It looks like a human. I have a picture of them actually. If you want, I can show you everything.
Could we maybe get one up on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
If you could send it to Clover.
Just tell me what to Google.
It's called Soft Body Dolls for Pediatric Care, so that I used to get tested. Yeah.
Chair.
Oh, pediatric care, my bad. I'm zoomed in on parliamentary procedure right now.
Can we just look up medical?
Is this what you were looking for?
Nope, those are soft body dolls. I get it now, there is a big difference in them. I just sent it to you via Slack. if you
I don't have
access.
Slack on the computer.
Just say medical care instead of, because pediatric is kids.
Yeah, cloth therapy, 3 doll body lot, infant 20-inch was literally the exact Etsy listing. You can tell, we had a very, it was a very long
Maybe
struggle
they'll
to
know
get
that
access to
yet.
these
All right.
calls. I'm so sorry.
For the sake of the meeting, I'll allow Legislator Snell to post it in the Slack for the sake of everybody to be able to see it. For continuing discussion, Chairperson Waters, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a few words about what I think is a very great initiative, and I'm very happy that this is up there. I think these soft body dolls, like, I mean, I would never have thought about it, but this is a really good idea, and I'm really happy we're doing something with this. That's it. I yield the floor.
Majority Leader Brummer.
I had two questions for Director Demond. First one is with the rain barrels, do we have a plan of what we're going to do with the water once it gets collected? And then also I was curious if you could recap on the new rain garden as well.
Yes, of course. So, the water mostly will probably be used to water the gardens and such, or cleaning off things, most likely just to hold the water, to use it for something else. You're getting 5 of them, and Chris Reed wants one at most of the main buildings. So with that, it's probably up to maintenance what they would like to do with that, more than us to do so. And the rain garden is basically the same as a normal garden, but it's a little bit deeper, so it can hold the water and not let any like garbage that it picks up to go into the storm drain. Instead, will hold there and not keep going anywhere. Yeah. Anything else?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Legislator Markowitz.
So one thing for pretty much everything here that's like some sort of giveaway or something that's being built, it's not just like a one-off thing like Beaverfest, for example, but I feel like we should be putting our names on all this stuff. So like with the soft body dolls, I would definitely advocate to have somehow there be a way that we can have OUSC on that. Because if we're just spending our money and nobody knows that we did this, then not that it's going to nothing, obviously it's still helping people, but I think that it's definitely something that we should investigate, including for also the rain barrel, the rain barrels and that kind of stuff, that if we can get OUSC on it, I would like it. Or even if there's a way that like wherever they store it, that at least like there's an OUSC placard or something there that indicates that we gave those to them.
Legislator Snell.
Legislator Markowitz, while I agree with the idea behind it, I think that in the case of the dolls specifically, oftentimes they're also used in therapeutic environments, and we cannot guarantee every time that it won't be a fully positive experience, such as this is how an injection will look. For why they are used, I feel like that one specifically, I would be very uncomfortable with the idea that we brand it with OUSC. Everything else I do agree with. However, those in particular, part of the doll's usage, again, in pediatric care is for people who might not have the verbal ability to communicate what happened to them during, for example, an assault or sexual assault of any kind. And that I feel like we don't really want ourselves to be associated with, and we definitely don't want to compound that trauma by saying, here's this branded doll, now tell me your worst nightmare. With that, I yield though, and I do have a friendly amendment to adding that marketing branding budget as President Johnson asked.
Point of information, I need to receive that amendment before I can make it.
Oh, I would like to raise it, I guess. I don't know how that would work.
Motion to amend the marketing budget for branding purposes raised by Legislator Snell.
Second.
Seconded by Chairperson LaBelle. Does Legislator Snell, do you have a dollar amount for that marketing budget amendment?
Possibly $500 to $550 sound like a good base number.
All right, President Johnson, is that a friendly amendment? $550 for branding purposes to the Director of Marketing budget.
That is a friendly amendment.
All right. Legislator Serbu, do you still have a point? Chairperson LaBelle, do you still have a point?
No.
Majority Leader Brummer.
I was just going to bring up in terms of the branding stuff, just food for thought. I don't really care what we do either way, but I thought it might be more conscientious financially if, once we get to that point, we can figure out cost associated with the type of branding and potentially just put up a bill to make sure that, we have enough money there and we aren't going over or under, but just food for thought.
Are there any other motions or discussions on the budget at this time? Legislator Snell.
I kind of like Marion's plan a bit better than just $550 to branding things. So would it be like a motion to motion to remove my friendly amendment?
Motion to remove the amendment to add the OUC branding to the Director of Marketing budget. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Legislator Prashandaro. Is there a counter to that motion? Seeing none, OUC branding has been removed from the budget.
Yeah.
Are there any other motions or discussions on the budget at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving on into a roll call vote. I did see a present from Legislator Martino before I move on into a vote. Legislator Markowitz. Discussion time has ended, by the way.
Motion to extend discussion time by 15 seconds.
Motion to extend discussion time by 15 seconds raised by Legislator Markowitz, seconded by Legislator Snell. We will now have a 15-second discussion timer. Legislator Markowitz, you have the floor.
I closed my eyes and took a nap for 5 seconds and then heard branding was being taken off. Can somebody explain what the heck happened?
Motion to extend by 1 minute.
Just explain, just go for it, just go for it.
Legislator Snell, you have the floor for the purposes of explaining.
Why? So essentially we had the branding set aside. However, Marion pointed out that we could just use a bill to make sure we have exactly the amount we need rather than just $550 at will towards branding things. And I just like that plan better.
All right, we'll be now moving into a roll call vote as discussion time has expired. I will not entertain any motions to extend at this time. Chairperson LaBelle.
Yay.
Chairperson Waters.
Yeah.
Legislator Fayette.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
Majority Leader Brummer.
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez.
Yay.
Parliamentarian Villa.
Yay.
Legislator Dreswicki.
Yay.
Legislator Aveza.
Yay.
Legislator Lunger.
Yay.
Legislator Maku.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz.
Yay.
Legislator Martino, I did receive an abstain vote from you a couple minutes ago. Is that still your vote? I will just pass on that for a second. Legislator Mason.
Yay.
Legislator Obra.
Yay.
Legislator Prashandaro.
Yay.
Legislator Rosario.
Yay.
Legislator Serbu.
Yay.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yay.
Legislator Wiegand.
Yeah.
Legislator Wolf.
Yes.
And once again, Legislator Martino. All right. Seeing no vote. With that, the budget for the fall semester has passed. All right, with that, we'll be moving on into discussion. Are there any points of discussion at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to legislative updates. First up is the Speaker of the Legislature, Speaker DeVore. Speaker DeVore, you have the floor. One last time, thank you, Madam Chair. All right, so is that I'm confused? All right, so once again, I pretty much got through everything that I would want to say at the legislator meeting before this. But I do just want to once again say thank you for a very productive summer. We gotten through quite a lot. I believe 7 bills now, and I don't even know how many resolutions. We started all of the ad hoc committees that President Johnson was planning on doing this summer, with one still in the limbo, but that's still going to be paired up at the beginning of the fall. But really kudos on that. We got a budget passed in the summer before the fall semester starts. I don't remember the last time that's happened, but yeah, once again, great job out all of you. This has been about the most I don't know what word is, but most productive legislature I've seen in a very long time. At least looking through archives. I haven't really been here that long, but but yeah, thank all of you. I'm really excited to see what we all do in the fall together. With that, I'll be moving on into updates related to legislative leadership. First is Chairperson LaBelle.
I'll first say I have been here for a hot minute. Y'all have done great. It's very productive. I will say one quick thing. If you are interested in seeing what your summer attendances look like, what you've been marked excused, unexcused, all that sort of stuff for any meeting, anytime, any day, let me know. I can just give you a quick show. Or if you just want to like quickly know, oh, is there any dates I was just straight up absent and not excused? I can tell you. If you're interested at all, let me know. Is that a go?
All right, I saw Chairperson Waters first.
Yes, I just have a really quick thing. So I had a very productive short meeting with the president of SPB about us possibly helping out with some events of theirs. So the thing is, we will be helping out with volunteering, or what we would be paid for this if you have the hours for it. I forget the event's name, but it's on the 10th. It is the if you remember from anyone in the committee remembers from the meeting, I know what it is. September 10th. No, it is. It's like I lost my train of thought right when I came up here.
Point of information? What is he talking about?
No,
I don't mean like
Point of information, an SPB event on September 10th that we would be helping staff.
I immediately clap back before I just got lost. I got lost.
All right.
Isn't the spike ball tournament also September 10th?
Oh, yes, that is
Aren't
true.
you also?
Yeah,
helping
it's
with
not
that?
September. I believe it is like the first week of September. I believe it's before then, if it is.
The 9th.
The 9th?
The carnival's the 9th.
Not the carnival. I know it's the carnival.
There's a mystery event that we don't know what it's called in Westboro.
Hold on, let me look.
All right, guys.
I'll leave the floor for a little bit. Now I look this up and let you know what it is. If
Okay.
that's cool. Yeah, wait a minute. We're getting a physical performance.
Guys, okay. Majority Leader Brummer, you have the floor.
I know I mentioned these two events at the legislature meeting earlier, but I just wanted to recap them for anybody who was not at that meeting. So one of the events that I have talked to President Johnson about putting on would essentially be like a civic engagement educational event to highlight some of the ballot initiatives that are going to be coming up, because there's a lot of them between now and next year, just so that students have a place where they can come and learn about them from the people and the organizations that started that process. And also building into that some civic engagement awareness for the local elections that are going to be coming up. And then separate of that, something that I had talked to President Johnson about as well was, potentially like a Board of Trustees listening event. And I know that he had talked about doing that with other members of the administration, which I think would be great. But essentially kind of just to give students the opportunity to learn about, who are the Board of Trustees, what do they do, what is their role in affecting the lives of students, and also giving students the space to be able to, communicate concerns to the Board of Trustees and other things like that. Just because typically I don't think they do a whole lot of interaction with students, and I would love to support bridging that gap. But with that, I yield.
All right. And with that, are there any more updates related to legislative leadership at this time? Seeing none, I'll be moving on to updates related to legislative projects and initiatives. Are there any updates at this time? Legislator Snell?
So yeah, first of all, I mentioned this in the legislative meeting, but just to recap, the Disability Support Services Committee, actually, I just got an update from them. I should have an answer by the end of the week, so that way by, I believe, fingers crossed, next GBM, otherwise the first week of September, that one we can put up for, and we also can have a chair, or Emily Longer. On top of that, I would like to be following up with Chairperson LaBelle to talk about that event a bit more that the dolls would go with, which would be a partnership between Graham Health Center, Planned Parenthood, if we can, and the GSC to do an HRT demonstration on our new dolls. And otherwise, yeah, no, they will be sitting in Graham Health Center, and they will be a new option for students to have access to. Other than that, I don't think I have. Yes, I do have updates. So me and I've lost my train of thought. I've had a very long day. I'm sorry. I yield.
All right, with that, are there any more updates related to legislative projects and initiatives at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving on into, are there any questions related to legislative reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to the liaison report. Are there any liaisons that would like to give a report at this time? Seeing none, moving on into executive reports. First up is President Johnson. President Johnson, you have the floor.
Typically I have more for you, but I literally just talked to y'all last week. The main thing I've been working on, and I will start by saying this is not something that is guaranteed to happen. This is not a promise I am making is going to happen, just something that I'm actively working on. I'm putting together a report so that I can have a meeting with both Vice Presidents Mackey and McIntosh to discuss getting some institutional help with the Free Menstrual Product Initiative. Now, this is my way of saying it's just what I've been working on this week for the most part. I cannot guarantee that this will happen. I cannot guarantee that they will do it. But I can guarantee that they will hear from me about it. And I can guarantee you'll know what they tell me when I figure that out. So this is my way of alerting you that that's what I'm working on as of this present moment. I'm actually working on that with now liaison, former President Garcia, and I have to bother the Oakland Center about a couple of things. But yeah, that's all I will yap at y'all with so that y'all can, go home.
All right, moving on, we would have the report from Vice President Matthews as she is gone. We'll be moving on to updates related to e-board projects and initiatives. Are there any updates at this time? Chairperson Ludwig.
So the fall semester for student funding has started. It's going pretty good. These things is all nice and good. And since this is the last board meeting she'll be at, I would like to say goodbye to Gio because she is awesome and has been with SFB for more than 4 years, I believe, which is amazing. And I just want to thank you for awesome and you're all going to miss her.
All right, are there any more updates related to e-board projects and initiatives at this time? Seeing none, are there any questions related to executive reports? Seeing none, I would have the advisor's report, although Advisor Miller did have to step out. Moving on into comments from the gallery. Are there any comments from the gallery at this time? Seeing none, are there any announcements at this time? Chairperson Ludwig.
For those of you who like to be whimsical, the Renaissance Fair starts this weekend.
And also SFB's positions are open on handshake.
Yes. The chairperson should be up either today or tomorrow. The chair. Yeah.
All right, Chairperson Waters.
Yes, following my interesting announcement, I do have more information actually. It's the 5th. I will post more on Slack when I have all the information. It is. I don't have my notes were really bad. Yes, I deserve a red flag here. I really do. Yeah, but I'll post more on Slack when I figure it out.
All right, are there any more announcements at this time? Seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:26 p.m. Last
Have a
CBM.
great day.
Have a good night, y'all.
You too.
Great day. It's night.
Bye.
The room back